Hello! So today I'm doing a video on UA and everyone who's been associated with film and mainly their quirks. And I'm no more diddle-daddling, let's get into it. Principal Nezu, his quirk, high specs. He's actually an animal with a quirk that makes him as smart as humans, even smarter than humans. And he's the principal of UA. Recovery Girl. Her quirk, Heal. Whoever she kisses, she can recover any major injury that they have, like a broken finger, for example. Not related to any person. Alright, so, moving on to Lunch Rush. His quirk isn't actually known at this point. All we know is that he's the chef. Moving on. 13. Her quirk is Black Hole. She can pretty much has a lid on her fingers that she can suck anything into and disintegrate it. Hound Dog. His quirk, Hound Dog. He pretty much is a very angry, very pissed off person, and the more pissed off he is, the less he understands human speech. And he's the guidance counselor apparently. Moving on to UA teachers. That was the UA staff. All Might, Quirk, One for All. He pretty much has the power to stockpile energy, just like a battery, compose it in fingers, legs, arms, etc. He can also pass his quirk down to others. Shotoa, Aizawa, or Eraserhead. His quirk, Erasure. He can erase the quirks of anyone that he looks at. But if he overexposes his quirk, then he's due. Or he can get dry eye a lot. Moving on. Present Mike. His quirk, Voice. He pretty much has a very, very loud voice that he uses to control with the speaker that's around his neck so that he can battle around people. Cementos. Quirk, Cement. He can pretty much manipulate any type of cement as he wishes. And he can manipulate it just however. Midnight. Her quirk, Submulus. She can release a kind of gas from her body that can put her enemies right to sleep. It usually works better on guys than girls. Snipe. His quirk, Snipe. He can pretty much shoot his guns with laser precision accuracy, even when they're extremely far away. Ectoplasm. His quirk, Clones. He can open up his mouth and mist will start to come out, which forms clones, and those clones can do whatever they wish, but they usually follow Ectoplasm's orders, and they're not very tough, just a few hits and they're dead. Moving on. Power Loader. Quirk, Iron or Metal Claws. At the tips of his fingers, he has metal, so that he can dig down into the ground just like a mole. Flag King. His quirk, Blood Control. He can control and manipulate any of his own blood as it's a weapon or to use it to hold someone. He can manipulate his blood and his blood only. He cannot manipulate anyone else's blood. So that's it for the UA staff and teachers. Moving on to the UA students, starting with Class 1A. Yuga Aoyama, seat number 1. His quirk, Naval Laser. He can shoot a laser out of his belly button that isn't very fast.
Nobody come out there and talk to me.
Okay. But he can shoot a laser out of his belly button that is not very strong and he can't hold it forever, but it does shine brightly, which can be used as a rescue tactic. Mina Ashido, seat number 2. Her quirk, Acid. She can manipulate acid that she can release from her hands, and it is as hot as acid, and she can manipulate as she wants if it's making a wall, making a geyser, etc., etc.
Give me just 1 second, please.
Seat number 3. Her quirk, Frog. She can pretty much do anything a frog can. She has a super long tongue. She can climb up walls. She can turn invisible. She can jump super high, etc. Tenya Ida, seat number 4, class representative. His quirk, Engines. He has engines on his calves, which can release which he can use to run super fast and get the advantage. Ochako Uraka. Her C is C number 5. Her quirk is 0 gravity. Pretty much she can touch anything with all 5 fingers and it will become weightless. So she can't control gravity. She can only give objects no gravity. Masahiro Orjiro, seat number 6. He has a very adhesive tail that is very strong. He can use it as a weapon or he can use it as a holding device and stable himself completely with his tail. Denki Kaminari, seat number 7. His quirk, electrification. He can manipulate electricity that he can expose, and in the later seasons he get a kind of pointer shooter system that he can use as a lightning rod for his electricity. Eijiro Kirishima, seat number 8. His quirk, hardening. He can harden any part of his body as hard as rock or hard as steel, whatever. And his ultimate form is Red Riot Unbreakable, which is a very hard form to break. Koji Koda, seat number 9. His quirk is Anavoice. He can tell animals what to do, and he adds a megaphone on his face to expand his range. And they hope doing that will give him a bit more confidence and not be as shy. Ridiko Sato. His C is seat number 10. His quirk is Sugar Rush. For every 10 grams of sugar, his strength multiplies. And so that can make him an ultimate shield or a devastating weapon. Mizo Shoji. His quirk, Dupla Arms. He can manipulate his arms however he wants and summon energetic organs like mouths, eyes, nose, or not really noses, ears, or hands as he wishes. Kyoka Jiro. Her C is number 12. Her quirk is earphone jack. So you see these earphones? But pretty much she has these earphone jacks on her ear. Hontosero, seat number 13. His quirk, tape. He can shoot out a very adhesive tape out of his elbows, and he can use it to swing around, tie someone up, or defend. Fuyugukage Tokoyami. His C is seat number 14. His quirk, Dark Shadow. He can control what people call a dark beast called Dark Shadow, however he wishes, but it's harder to control at night, but it's much more powerful. It's easier to control in the day or with light around, but it's not as powerful. Toru Hagakure, seat number 16. She's invisible, so she can be a very good stuff. Katsuki Bakugo. His C is number 17. His quirk is that he sweats nitroglycerin-like substance out of the palms of his hands, which can make explosions. Izuku Midoriya. Quirk, one for all. We already went over it. Minior Mineta. Seat number 19. His quirk, Pop Off. He has a ton of balls on the top of his head, which he can pull off, and they get regenerated instantly. But if he pulls off too many, his head starts to bleed. He can throw them, and they can stick to anything but himself. Momo Yaruzu. Seat number 20. Class Vice Representative. Alright, so this is kind of easy. Her quirk is called creation. She can pretty much eat anything to build up her body fat, and she can use the lipids inside of her body to create whatever she wants as long as she knows the magnetic structure. So that's all of Class 1A, and moving on to Class 1B. So I had to do a little bit of research with this, but we're gonna go through them all. Yotasuso Awase. Seat number 1. His quirk, Weld. He can weld 2 objects at an atomic level, trying to get through them quickly. Shenji Kabara. His quirk, Gravitate. He can pretty much spin any part of his body as fast as he wants, and it can be pretty much like a drill. Haru Kamakaki, or Kamakiri. His quirk, razor blades. He can shoot blades out of any part of his body. Moving on. Shigakai Koroiru. His quirk, back. He can manipulate and control whatever he wants as long as it's black. That includes Dark Shadow. Moving on. Izuka Kendo. Seat number 5. Class representative. I'm not going to say the seats anymore. But her quirk, big fist. She can pretty much make her fist as big as she wants. And she can use them to bash people together. She can use it to hold someone, punch someone, etc., etc. Yu Kodai. Her quirk is size. She can shrink things and grow things as big as she wants and manipulate them as much as she wants. The only drawback is that it does not work on living human people. Kanari Oko Kamimori. Her quirk is mushroom. She can pretty much send out a massive, floors and mycelium smells from the fumes from her body. Moving on. Ibara Shuizaki. Her quirk, vines. She has vines for hair and she can manipulate those vines as much as she wishes. Giratora Shirisidita. I'm not saying that correctly, but I do not care. His quirk, beast. He can turn his own body into a beast-like substance that is very hyper aggressive and very strong. Negatira Shoda. He is the class vice representative, and his quirk is twin impact. He can pretty much spin things as much as he wants, but he can choose and he can throw them, but he can choose which one he wants is faster. So if he corners the people that he wants and throws them both, they don't know which one's faster, so they're gonna have to choose which one they think is going to be faster, but he could use that to his advantage. So very, very strong quirk. Pony Tanjiro. We have to finish quickly because my automation just ran. Her quirk is that she can shoot the horns from her head as fast as she wants. Koshi Tsuratuba. His quirk is solid air. He can shoot air out of his mouth and it can reflect on anything. Tetsu. His quirk, steel. He can, for the more iron he eats, he can harden his body turn his body into steel as much as he wants. Moving on. Santakira Kojira. Her quirk is lizard. She can dispatch her body and shoot it in all different directions as much as she wants. Manga Fukashi. His quirk is that he can pretty much make any kind of manga noise, like kaboom, kabowie, kaplooey, and it has an onomatopoeia effect. Juzo Hanasuwa. His quirk is that he can make the ground liquid and that people can go kind of like a quicksand feel, but he can choose who can go in it with ease and who can't. Conjuro Bondo. His quirk is glue. He can shoot glue out of the holes on his eyes, and it's a very, very sticky glue. Nato Monoma. Quirk. Copy. If he touches someone, then he can copy their quirk as much as he wants. Ridiku Yanagi. Her quirk, poltergeist. She can pull things to her with telekinesis as much as she wants. Rinia Rin. Her quirk is scales. She can pretty much summon scales on any part of her body as she wishes. Alright, so we have to go through this quickly. Mirio Togata. His quirk, permeation, before he's quirkless. He can pretty much go through any solid object as he wants, but it's very hard to control. Nejire Hado. Her quirk is that she can, I don't know the exact name, but she can pretty much send out her own, kind of energy. Tamaki Yamajiki. His quirk, manifest. Whatever he eats, he can manifest that on his body, including non-living objects. Hitoshi Shinchuo. His quirk, brainwash. He can ask his opponents or fellow friends questions, and he can decide whether he wants to brainwash them or not. And he can use that to his advantage. Mei Hatsume. Her quirk, zoom. She can see up to 5 kilometers away, but but she's very good with technology. So now we're going to go with the past few UA people who went, which I'm glad is not a lot. So everyone that's here is All Might, Best Jeanist, Endeavor, Eraserhead, Loudcloud, Midnight, and Present Mike. So I'm going to be going over Best Jeanist, Endeavor, Loudcloud. Alright, so Best Jeanist. His quirk, fiber manipulation. He can pretty much manipulate the fiber on his arms as much as he wishes. And he can use it to trap someone or hurt someone, but that's the last resort. Endeavor, his quirk, Health Flame. He has fire going all about his body, and he can launch fire at whatever he wants. Loudcloud. Loudcloud's quirk is that he can, or Obero Shirakumo. His quirk is called Cloud. This one's a very, very simple quirk. Very easy to describe. Pretty much, he has a cloud that he can create onto different sizes, and it's dense enough to be touched and held up by the weight of several people. These clouds float in the air, and that's it. That's the show. But if you want more videos, then just leave a like. But of course you don't have to. Maybe people don't like these videos and you guys want something else. But if you did enjoy this video, then consider leaving a like. You can dislike if you want. I don't care. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy the video, and I will see you all next time.